Good morning and welcome back to Jody Lewis Creations. We are going to play with scraps today. I hope that I have you I hit this the other day and it's like weird. So you guys tell me if the angle on the camera is weird for you, please. Not that it matters because I'm going to be taking it down in a couple days anyway. So what I have here is some Amazon packaging. By the way, hello, welcome to my channel. Hi, if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for your continued support. And just going forward here for the next few weeks, my filming is going to probably be very sporadic. Because as you know, we're leaving and we have a lot going on in the next 2 weeks and I just don't know how much I'm going to be in here. However, this is part of my cleaning up my table and getting my 12 days of Christmas prepped. So if you are new to my channel, I'm doing a 12 days of Christmas swap with a few girlfriends, and the burlesque journal that I was building is part of that swap. So there are 4 of us participating, and we each are sending 12 days of Christmas gifts, plus one person will receive a journal from one of the other 3 people. I hope that makes sense. There are 4 journals going to be exchanged. Let me just say that. Okay, so I have here a piece of Amazon packaging, and you guys know I love this stuff. So my thought process is I'm going to collage my scraps to one side of it and paint it and make it fun. And then on the other side of it, I'm going to stamp cut out 36 tags and then stamp or write whatever the person's name or initials and 1 through 12, because I need to double check the chat. I'm pretty sure we're numbering them 1 through 12, but I'll check that. We'll have plenty of time. So what I'm going to do is I have my bin of scraps here, and this isn't just scraps. I mean, there are card bases in here. Oh, there's a Timmy scrap that needs to go in the bin with the project, which is in the RV. But anyway, this is just kind of a catch-all bin, and of course I'm not going to use vintage ledger to collage with. That would be kind of crazy. But any of like these bits, anything like this, we're just going to dig through here. I have a lot of usable bits in here. What? That's vintage ads. Okay, so this is kind of where I just throw all the little things on my desk, and yeah, it's a mess. And I mean, some of this is super old in here, so it's time to clear it out. Clear it out and use the bits. Like, these are already collaged bits. Like, why are they in here? Oh, I have no idea. Do you guys have bins like this on your table? I mean, I cannot be the only one who just has a bin of just stuff that needs used. Oh my goodness. Okay, so, and you'll see like there's little bits like this, and usually I use these for backing tags. I still have lace bits in here, and these are left over from last year's Christmas swap journal. This is where when I unpacked, when we got home, I was like, oh, I'll just put those in the scrap bin. So, yeah, it doesn't really do me a lot of good to clean up if I never use the bits. And like, these are good for backing tags, which is why they're in here. But what do? I get new paper out to back the tags with. That actually matches the journal I'm working on. Oh my goodness. File folder, like, are these from the Blossom file folder journal? Are they from the Pink Christmas file folder journal? Who knows? You see this? I mean, who hangs on to all this stuff? Little cardboard pieces for collaging with. All right, so we're just gonna get started and then dig through here as we run out, and I need to stop being precious about which scraps I'm using. They're in here, they've been in here. Let's just use them and get rid of them. I mean, that's from when I made the prototype for the first file folder journal. Oh my goodness, Jody. All right, so as we can see, we just have lots of things that we're gonna use, and I don't care about the shape. I don't care if it's ripped, torn, straight edge. Okay, that's probably not true. I probably do care if it's a straight edge. Sorry about my voice. Okay, so I have my thing of the Scholastic glue that I got on clearance, and I wish I could tell you guys what I paid for this, but I don't remember, but I do know it wasn't much. And this works really well for just collage, and decoupage. I truly just created an avalanche situation over there. So I'm going to pour some of this in this little tray. I have no idea what this little tray is. It's packaging from something. I don't know what. Underneath my Amazon packaging are my Dollar Tree cutting mats to kind of put a plastic layer under this, because I did just clean my mat yesterday and I don't want this to stick to my table. So I'm just adding a little water to that to thin it. And yes, all of my papers are going to warp. I don't care. That's going to give me some really great texture. And I really like that. And I'm probably going to add a layer of napkin, white napkin on top of this just for some more added texture. I want these to really be a lot of fun and usable bits. So that's why I'm going to put the name and date on the back of them so that whoever, well, you're not going to use plastic, whoever gets the tags can reuse them in a project or something. So I'm just putting a layer of glue down, and this might be a little wet, but it'll be okay. It's going to stick. I'm not, oh, there's that house. That's why I was keeping that bit. See, this is the problem with scraps. I need to not look at them. Don't flip them over. Just use them, right? This is very wet. I think I need to add a little more glue. But this little tray, I don't know. I've used it for a long time, and it's really great for this because it's just garbage that I've recycled and used for this. But it's, you know, not very deep, so it's a really great way to mix my glue and have it. Excuse me. I've had my coffee this morning, but that's about it. Chloe's in here somewhere, just so you know. This is really warping, but that's okay. I kind of want to go around the edge first. And then I have you guys lift it up to a little bit higher because I realize sometimes when I'm working on the edges and I'm not doing anything you need to like see the details of, I might have you too high. So I do apologize about that. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to do this and go all, you know, around my edges and get a good layer of paper down. And I don't mind if, well, I do actually. I was going to say I don't mind if some of the brown paper shows through because it's, you know, part of it, but I do mind because I want to make sure that I have a good base down, so that would not be a true statement. And I'm not going all the way to the edges. I mean, I need 36 tags, so whatever the size of this ends up being, I'm just gonna basically split it in 3 and go from there. So I'll just keep working on this and get your scraps out, get yourself some glue, and just you can do this on ugly cardstock too. I mean, we all have ugly cardstock in our stash. So find a piece of ugly cardstock. I know I've done that before. And we all have some that we're like, I'm never gonna use this. So just get it out, and on the ugly side, do your collage. And then on your back side, you've got your white or whatever color, and you can then use that to create with and use up that cardstock. And then it doesn't go to waste in our stash because we don't like it. It doesn't just sit there taking up space and all of that, which I'll say, I did have a lot of fun, and I may have said this already, excuse me if it's on repeat, but I did have a lot of fun digging in my scrapbook papers, looking for things that would match the bees and the bunnies, and I've got to do the same thing for things to match the Dumbo papers. I just didn't get that far yet, and don't know if I will, to be honest, because that one's going to push me so hard creatively, and I don't know. My concern is being worried about not having what I need to make that and missing a piece or not having access to all my things, and so I'm kind of worried about it. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but we'll see. All right, so I've got to mix up more glue, and it does take quite a bit to do this, and of course the packaging is soaking it in as well, and that's okay. I don't mind, and as long as I don't stick to my backing, I'll be okay. So I need a piece there. Anyway, so yeah, get your stuff out. mix a little. You don't have to mix. You can use any kind of glue you want for this. I would not recommend glue stick. Number one, it would take so much glue. And number two, with the wet glues, you can use different weights of paper a lot easier. So, yeah, there's that. So just, yeah, get your stuff out and play. So I will, oh, I meant to put gloves on. I have to go make bacon today, and I don't want to have glue all over my fingers for that. So I need to go find a pair of gloves also and mix some more glue. So I will do that, and then I will be back once this is completely covered with paper, okay? Okay, so it's all collage, and it's very wet and messy. Very, very messy, in fact. So you know that's gonna make me happy, right? To get all messy, because I don't get to get messy like this very much in the RV, because I don't make this kind of mess in the RV. So I'd seen a spot there that I thought it wasn't covered quite well enough. Wanted to get a little bit something more on there. I don't think I'm gonna use that. So my paper, of course, warped, hello, warped, not warped. Hey, it warped. Anyway, so I just kind of pulled it from both corners to kind of flatten it back out some. I always say to you not to get rid of your white bits of napkin. So what I'm going to do now is just tear some bits of napkin. Actually, I think I'm gonna just do the one, I don't know. I don't like the square edges of napkin, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. And this is going to take a while to dry. And of course, it's raining today, so that's going to make for a little bit more time for it to dry. I'll probably hit this with my heat tool. I do have just a little more glue, and I didn't water this down as much. This batch of glue, I just want to make sure I have a really good layer of glue on this, so the whole thing is like sealed with no issue. I don't want anything coming up. Yeah, and I think what I might do is, while this is still wet, I think I'm going to brayer a layer. How you like that? Brayer a layer of paint down, and hopefully it'll give me a crackly effect. That's what I'm hoping. I can't remember, actually. It's been a really long time since I've done that. So I just want this to be like a really fun piece for, you know, the girls to use, or excuse me, 12 little fun pieces for them to use. And I don't know how big they'll be. They don't have to be big, because some of the packages are going to be really tiny. Or I shouldn't say really tiny, but not very big. So I don't need ginormous tags on them. I want to have kind of a variety of sizes. So then they have a variety of sizes if they want to use them in a journal or repurpose them, send them, and hopefully they don't send them out in Happy Mail, but maybe they will. Maybe they won't like them and be like, I'm sending this to somebody else. So we'll see. I mean, it happens. Not everybody likes everything I make, and that's okay. To each, everybody's got their own style and their own taste and preference, so that's okay. So I'm just going to continue around this whole thing with the layers of napkin. I do have a hard edge on that one, and I am going to put probably a couple layers on here. I just want to make sure that these are good, and they don't have to be super stable. I have to tell myself that and remind myself, like, it's okay. They're just going to be tags for Christmas packages. They don't have to be super like cardstock or whatever. I just want them to be fun pieces. So we'll see how this turns out. You guys know I love to make messes like this. And so this gives me something I can work on. I don't know what time we're leaving, so I'll have to ask Mark, but I'm certain I won't get these done today just because of drying time and stuff. But anyway, I'm hoping to get quite a bit of it accomplished, because I have to get these presents wrapped and get them boxed up. I'd like to have the 12 days of gifts actually mailed before I leave, and then all I have to take with me is the journal, because I don't know who I'm mailing the journal to and won't know until the end of November. But if I can get these gifts wrapped and mailed now, then I don't have to worry about them taking up space in the RV. So that is my goal. So hopefully this weekend we can be done with them. So, okay, let me just finish with the white layers and then we'll come back. Just wanted to say, make sure that when you're doing this, you're only gluing one layer of napkin at a time. Like this one was 2 layers and I didn't realize till I started to tear it. But make sure you only do 1 layer of napkin at a time. Otherwise, you run the risk of air being in your layers and your stuff not staying glued down. So yeah, just make sure. And if you're having difficulty getting it apart, of course you can use washi tape. I recommend sticking the washi tape on your skin first to ensure that you're not going to help with the sticky so that it doesn't tear your napkin if you don't want it torn. Like if you're using a decorative piece, then it takes the layers apart. But yeah, just make sure you're doing a single layer at a time. Okay, so I've lifted it up and I'm drying the underside. I've set it aside. It's not dry, it's drying. And I need to dump that water before I spill it. But these are sticky, and so when I picked it up, I was like, oh, I'm glad I did that, because obviously all the water and the glue soaked through the paper. That's not a wet barrier backing on that. So it's quite wet. I want to wipe my mat down, though, to make sure that the excess glue that's on my mat doesn't stick. So I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry to be saying I was thinking about where my my wipes were and talking at the same time. And I don't do well with chewing bubble gum and walking at the same time, for sure. So yeah, I'm just gonna wipe these down a little bit and then I'll dry it off before I set the thing back up here and show you. I have a ginormous mess of little bits and scraps, and I'm throwing these away. I know that some people would be like, oh, those are usable for little clusters and stuff, but no, I'm getting rid of them. I have to get stuff cleaned up. And I always am making scraps, so I'm not that worried about it. So, okay, wipe down. Let's get these dried off here. There's a paper towel, I'll use that. And then, so yeah, if you guys are doing this, let me know, or you're going to do it, or you know, I just think it's going to be fun. And like, you know, Bernice, you pointed out to me when I did the Louisa Masterboard Challenge thing that I just like to make messes, which is true. Okay, so here it is with all the layers, and then you can see the back's really, really wet, and I did take my heat tool to it a little bit. I'm going to continue to do that, just try to get some of that moisture out, and then I want to figure out what color I want to use as the base color, and then I'm going to just let it air dry. I've got to get ready to go. I've got other things I need to do today, so it'll just allow it to dry all the way through before I continue to put more wet on it. Because it truly needs to dry all the way through. But I'm trying to get it just kind of dry enough that I know it's going to lay relatively flat. And yeah, it's going to be, I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun. And if you have little bits that maybe you didn't get enough glue on, you'll be able to see. They're going to be a lighter white. So go ahead and go through and make sure that you've got enough glue on it. If those bits come up, I'm not that worried about it because it's more texture, but you may not want that. So, and if you don't want the texture of the napkin, don't do the napkin. Or you can do it just really gently and nicely and make sure that your napkin lays flat. I wanted the texture, so I wasn't that worried about it. But you may not want that. And if you don't want that, then maybe take your brayer, use a brayer or something to put your pieces down. But be cautious because your glue will stick to your brayer. Anyway, so I'm going to dry this a little bit more and then I'll come back. So I rushed the paint too soon. This is not nearly dry enough. And it was pulling my napkin up on the brayer. So I'm walking away and I'm going to let this dry, and I will probably come back to it either later today or tomorrow morning because I need it to be dry all the way through so that I don't do more damage to it. It's just more texture. It's another layer. I'm not that worried about it. but it's not dry enough for me to continue working on. So what I did was just this Twisted Citron Distress Paint. I dripped it over and then was trying to brayer it, and the napkins are sticking to the brayer, as I knew they would. I believe I just said to you, the napkin will stick to your brayer. So good for the win, Jody. Go for the win. All right. Anyway, so I'm going to leave this to dry. And this Twisted Citron is super, super bright. But I wanted to start with the lightest green. I think I'm going to go with greens and blues and just see what we can come up with, because everybody likes greens and blues that are participating. One person hates pink and the other person loves pink. But I'm not going to use pink because I don't want to send the person who hates pink. I just don't think that she would appreciate that very much. And anyway, so I wanted to make sure I use colors that they like. And I thought the Twisted Citron would just be a really nice bright pop-up color under here. And I want to stay in the blues and greens. I was going to do Christmas colors, but I decided not to do Christmas colors necessarily because I want these tags to be options for other projects other than Christmas. And, you know, maybe they'll put them in a 12 Days of Christmas journal. I don't know what they'll do with them. That's for them to decide. But I want to do something that I think will be a little more versatile for them to use. So off to do chores or whatever it is I need to do. And I will come back probably tomorrow morning with my coffee and resume and give this like a full day to dry. Oh my goodness, you guys, this dried so cool, and it's got amazing texture. It is so much fun. I love it. And actually, this side's given me an idea of something differently I could have done. Excuse my frog. I'm just now starting to have my coffee, so I don't know if you can see here that my ink ran. I have an inkjet printer. I don't have a laser printer, which means that if I get my digitals wet, then my ink runs. So that's a good example of it running. And it doesn't look terrible, and you're probably not going to see that anyway by the time we're done with this, but it definitely ran. So that's my green, a green. I'm thinking, let's just do some fun colors this morning, and we're gonna let this get good and dry. And in between layers here, I'm going to be over working on, I'm still working on the 12 Days of Christmas gifts. I almost said something that would be a giveaway for the person who does watch me, so good thing I caught myself. So I just have that that is, what is that, cracked pistachio? And then I'm just going to take my card, and it might be loud. Very loud. Or maybe I won't use my card. Maybe I do need my brayer. I don't need my brayer. Oh, so pretty. Maybe I want to do, no, that's good. So I'll dry that off. I'm pre-coffee here trying to create, so bear with me. There we go. Get a little bit of that moved into that area that doesn't have very much. This has such great texture. Oh my goodness, it's awesome. Maybe I should have done that on a mat on the side here so that it spreads a little easier, but just got to show it who's boss this morning. All right, so we'll let that dry, or dry it. I'll dry it with my heat tool, and then I'll do the next layer, and then I'll come back, I'll dry that, and I'll just kind of show you in stages. I won't film every single, because I'm sure that's super loud for you. And then we'll come back and kind of see where we are and what we want to add kind of as the top layer. Okay, so I just have some layers of paint on here, and I'm liking how it's turning out, but of course I need a little sparkle. So I'm just going to lightly spray with some mica, and this is bad. I'm being very bad. I'm not doing this in my spray box. And that's bad. Don't do that. Don't be a Jody. Really don't be a Jody, because that really made a mess. Okay. All over me, all in my ring. Good thing I didn't go get my ring cleaned already. They'll be like, I've gone to do that before, and I was working on like a Halloween page. It's been a couple years ago, and I was using like black and purple or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I got my ring cleaned, and they're like, there's like black and purple in your ring, and I'm like, yeah, it's paint. So they got it out. They would just shake their head at me sometimes when I go in to get my ring cleaned. Oh, I actually really like that. I'm going to dry that off, and then hopefully you can see it. But that gave me a nice shimmery effect on here. And honestly, I think I might want to spray a little bit more on here and see what other colors I have. I don't want to overpower it, but I mean, it is for Christmas presents, right? So it's got to have a little bit of shimmer. But I'm trying to stay away again from like the traditional colors, because I want these to be able to able to be used for something else. I'm getting through my coffee. Can you tell my tongue's getting a little fast? So I'm going to see what color I have. This one is Tropicana Teal from Heidi Swapp, and I love this color. I actually got these on a yard sale table at the retreat. It was like a whole bag of colors for basically nothing, and they have been so much fun to work with. I absolutely love the colors of them. Yeah, I think I'm going to add a little bit more of the teal to this. So much for cleaning up my table, guys. And then do make sure, if you're using your mica sprays, that you wipe those nozzles and clean that mica out of your nozzles so they don't clog. And I did read recently, somebody said in a comment on somebody's channel, I don't know whose channel or what video or whatever, but somebody said if your thingy does get clogged, to pull it out and run it under hot water and rinse it out. So just an FYI there. Did I get it on my pajamas? I did not. Okay. All right. Yes, I'm still in my pajamas. It's Mark's birthday. I got to get this done so it can dry. I get it, go make him some brownies, get a shower, get the 12 days gifts hopefully wrapped today. So, lots of things to do today. So I'm going to get this dry and see what other color I want. But I really like that. I'm trying not to add water to this for that to run, because I don't want it to soak all the way through. Because this did take overnight to dry, and I don't want to be into tomorrow trying to get this cut and everything. Okay, so I found tinsel in the Heidi Swapp. I think that one was brand new. That's crazy. Anyway, so I went over it with that, and it looks a lot brighter through the camera than it does on my desk, but it is still dark outside. Anyway, and I'm really liking this. So I think at this point I'm going to cut it down, because then I think I can lay them under books for a little bit and smush them, and then flatten it a little bit. And then I'm thinking I want to take maybe a little my black ink pad, because my archival ink pad's almost, I mean, this big one, you guys know I've been fighting with it for a while, but I think once the tags are flat, I might be able to just go over that with like the black to catch all that texture, and then that shimmery will be on, you know, under there, and all that blue. And in the smaller versions, I can see like individually if the tags need anything else. I don't know, but that's what I'm thinking right now. So let's pick up the Dollar Tree mats, and then good thing I haven't packed my rulers yet, because you guys know, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say about using a knife and a ruler? What kind of a ruler are we using? We're using a cork-backed ruler, right? Okay, so I have a straight edge up here. I'm just going to line this up on the very edge over here. Let's see, let me zoom out a little bit for you. I have my knife, and I'm just going to choose a point and have that as just a straight edge. What I need to do is just get this down to a size where I can get it in my trimmer. And then once I have it to that point where I can get it in my trimmer, then I can get a little bit more of a precise cut. But guess where that's gonna go? In the scrap bin that I'm trying to empty out. But how can I not put that in the scrap bin? It looks awesome. Okay, All right, well, maybe I'll put it in my friend's present, the one who loves mixed media and scraps. Maybe I'll do that. But I don't know. I like it an awful lot. Okay, what I need to do is, how wide is this? Obviously, it's wider than 12 inches, but not by much. So I'm going to come down here about, oh, see, I said I needed to get 36 of these out, didn't I? All right. Oh, hey, there's a card. Let me get this kind of figured out, and then I'll get it cut. And then, because I have to think about what size I want these and how I'm going to work this out. Okay, because of the size of some of the gifts, I think I'm going to go with maybe 4x3. And then maybe some that are a little bit smaller. That's kind of where I'm thinking I'm going to go. And so I'm just going to cut these down, see how many I can get. And it's not going to be exact because my pages are super wonky just from being wet or whatever. But that's okay. I'm not worried about the perfection of the sizes. I just want to get them kind of close to being, you know, what did I say? 4x3? 3. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, actually, that's gonna be too big, but for some of them, I can cut that in half and make it smaller. So 2, 4. Okay, 6, and then 3. Don't think I like that. So this one, I'm gonna go 2-ish. These are all ish because 2 by, I could just do a little square one. What do they call that? Twinchies or something like that. Oh, now see, that looks super awesome. So here's kind of what I'm thinking I'll do with them at this point is just kind of, oh yeah, take that around the edge like that. Yep, like that. And just add a little bit more. Oh, I like it. Yep. So that's what I'm going to do to them. Okay. So I'm going to just continue to work on them. I'll get the gifts wrapped and then I will just show you kind of the piles at the end. Obviously, I'm not going to share actually wrapping the gifts because that would give it away and I don't want to do that. I think I'm probably going to put a hole there. I don't pack this either, so all good things. Oops. So I think I will just take and put a hole maybe up here. And then I can run my twine through there. And then on the back here, I will put, maybe I'll just handwrite them. It'll be a lot faster than stamping. And then again, if they want to reuse these for something else, they can just cover the back of this with no problem. But I am liking that. I think that's fun. And that's what I'm going to do. And honestly, I could just make them all like this. But I want to give a little bit of variety in size for the purpose of being able to, you know, use these in a project or something. So yeah, I am really happy about how this is coming out. And yes, Bernice, it's because I like to make a mess. But I think that's a lot of fun. I think that's a lot of fun. I was going to maybe splatter some gold or something on them, but I really don't think I have to. And I am loving each one is its own unique little piece. So as a whole, I was like, oh, I don't know about this. I don't know if I've got enough color and stuff on here, but now that they're getting to be like this, I'm like, oh yeah, super sweet. Love it. And then just, okay, so now I've got 2 tags ready to be labeled and numbered, okay? And then these, I'm going to cut these in half. I am going to cut these in half or whatever. I'm just going to keep going. Oh my goodness, you guys, I am in love. In love. I'm so excited. I'm so glad I did this. I think it's going to add such a wonderful element to these gifts. Just, you know, give them all a little piece. But oh my gosh, these just say like grungy ocean to me. I don't know, but I am in love. And of course, yes, I made a mess. That always makes me happy. But these are just such awesome pieces. Let me zoom out just a little bit and then I'll zoom in. So I'm gonna get them all laid out here. I gotta get them laid out because they need to dry. I mean, I keep getting super gross all over my hands, which, you know, doesn't really bother me that bad, but I do have some things to do today and I can't have totally inky hands. I've got a lady coming over today about 10 o'clock. She needs a journal. Somebody she knows is in rehab, so she asked me if I've got a journal so the person could write goals or whatever. So hopefully we'll find something that I have that will be useful and effective for what she's looking for, I'm hoping. I mean, I don't know. I said, well, I don't know. Like, you want the Winnie the Pooh journal? Like, I don't know what you want. So she's just going to come and dig through. So I don't know if it'll be a spiral bound notebook or if it will be what you call it? Like an actual journal. I'm not sure. Okay, so there's everything laid out. So let's do this. Hopefully I won't make you sick. But that way you can kind of see them all really well. They're all so unique and individual. Let's see, is that better? There, that's better. Get the shadow of the camera off there for you. And I don't know why, it looks like they're picking up a pink tinge. They're not pink, that's just the lighting. Maybe that's some of that vintage paper that's reflecting that color. I'm not sure. Very slowly. So yeah, really, really, really excited about these. I mean, how many reallys do I need to say, right? And you can see the shimmer and the shine from the mica. You know, it's a lot of fun on there. Just a great way, I think, to add a personal touch to these gifts and be usable bits. Again, the persons can have them and back them and use them in a different project if they chose to do so, or, you know, maybe they just want to make a little note on the back of what those gifts were, if that's what, I mean, you know, if they wanted to. I don't know what I'm going to do with mine yet. That's part of the reason I was going to do a December daily, but I decided not to do that. But I love this, and I have this piece left, so I am going to probably get this cut into a piece that, and I have this piece, and I have this piece, and I have these little pieces. I mean, like, is that not the cutest little piece ever? Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I do want to take a piece with me so I can put that in my Tim Holtz journal because it's really fun and eclectic and I really like it. I want to have these pieces too. And I'm trying to tell myself to throw them away. Just throw them away. So if you're my friend that gets some of these, if you want the scraps, shoot me a message so I'll add them to your stuff. Anyway, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this process. I hope you get your stuff out and play. And remember, this was recycling packaging paper and using scraps out of my bin, just using a few. I mean, I used what, four distress paints. Yes, because I don't have Twisted Citron out. 4 distress paints, and then I did use a little bit of this apple barrel teal, 2 mica sprays, and my archival ink. So it really didn't take a whole lot, and of course glue, but it's just so much fun. I mean, I do encourage you to make a mess, but do make sure if you do something like this that you do it on a nonstick surface. So on top of freezer paper, wax paper, parchment paper, you know, your Dollar Tree cutting mats, something, because as you saw, that glue and water seeped through all the layers, obviously, because I applied glue right to the packing paper, and you don't want it to stick to your work surface. So I'm gonna get in the shower. I'm gonna let these completely dry. I'll start wrapping the presents, and yeah, I'm really excited. I can get those boxed up. I'm really inclined to add little eyelets to all these, but it's a lot of eyelets, so I don't know if I will, but I think I'm going to use silver. If I have enough silver twine, I'm probably going to use silver twine to attach the tags to the gifts. Hopefully I do. Or, you know, the white and silver baker's twine. Because I think that would be really pretty, or maybe even just black, but I don't know that black's very Christmassy, but obviously these tags are not Christmassy either, but they're just so fun. All right, well, hopefully the people who get them will love them as much as I do. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. And again, from this point on out, I would say from now through probably mid-November. I really don't know what my filming ability is going to be like. I will try to get something filmed for you. I do intend to try to continue to clean up a little bit. I most likely won't be making another messy project because I am trying to get everything packed up and hauled out to the RV. I just have a few more things to put in my craft totes so I can get those out. But my priority was getting these 12 days gifts wrapped, boxed, so I can take them to the post office this week. Anyway, so I'm not hauling those. Then all I have to do is actually take the journal with me to mail the journal once I know who that's going to. But I'm going to have it boxed up as well and just ready to slap an address on. That's my plan. All right. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon.